Ever just find yourself scrolling through Reddit and you just bump into this story and you're like, whoa, hold on, what would I do?
Hmm.
That's kind of what we're doing today.
Yeah.
A total deep dive. And this one sends us right to our relationship advice. That's always a good time.
Oh, yeah. Always juicy.
Always juicy. And this one, oh boy, this one has like a wedding and a big family secret.
A lot of drama for sure.
A lot of drama. So much to unpack here.
Exactly.
So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we have this woman, let's call her the OP, as they do on Reddit.
Right.
She's 35 years old, engaged to be married, living the dream. Everything's perfect except
Except there's always an except.
there's a secret, a big one.
Oh, yeah. This isn't just like forgetting to take the trash out kind of secret. This is major.
Major is an understatement, and it all centers around her child.
Okay. Yeah, that ups the
So
stakes.
she's been raising her niece as her own kid, told everyone, fiance included, that she used a sperm donor.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, so she's built this whole life on this foundation that's not entirely true.
And it's not like it was some random decision she made this choice to protect her sister, who had gone through a really traumatic sexual assault and ended up pregnant.
Oh, my gosh.
The family has no clue about any of this, by the way.
So they all just think the OP is the biological mom?
Yep, they're totally in the dark.
Wow. That's a heavy burden to carry around.
Right, and now here comes the wedding, and she's like, do I tell him now or after we're married?
Oh, boy. I can't even imagine being in that position.
Talk about a rock and a hard place.
Seriously, you're about to make this huge commitment, and there's this huge secret hanging over your head.
It's like, are you ever really starting a marriage if you're not starting it with the truth?
You're really getting at the heart of it there because honesty and trust are kind of foundational to a strong relationship.
100%. But then again, we're talking about her sister's trauma here, too.
Right, and potentially upending this child's life.
So what's the right call here? Is there even a right call?
Honestly, it's hard to say. It's such a complex situation with no easy answers, and that's what makes it so fascinating to unpack.
It really makes you think about the impossible situations some people find themselves in.
It really does. And the lengths they go to protect the people they love.
This wasn't a choice made lightly.
Exactly. She was trying to protect her sister, shield her family from a painful truth, and provide a loving home for her niece.
And she went to Reddit for advice, and oh boy, did the internet deliver.
They always do.
I mean, the comments section was like a car crash. You couldn't look away.
Right. It's like this train wreck of emotions and opinions, and everyone has their 2 cents to throw in.
Because it's such a gray area, right? Like there's no clear-cut right or wrong answer here.
Exactly. And that's what makes these kinds of dilemmas so fascinating to dissect.
So on the one hand, you have the folks who are all about radical honesty, rip the Band-Aid off, tell the truth no matter what.
Right. They're like, honesty is the foundation of any relationship. If you're starting with a lie, where do you go from there?
Like you're building a house on sand, eventually the whole thing's going to crumble.
Exactly. And for them, it's not even just about this one secret. It's about the pattern it sets.
Right. Like if you can keep this a secret, what else might you be willing to keep from him down the line?
And the what ifs start piling up.
Right.
Right? What if he finds out from someone else? What if it comes out years down the line?
What if like 20 years from now they do one of those ancestry DNA tests and the truth just explodes?
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
The ultimate betrayal.
Right. And that's what they're afraid of. That feeling of having the rug pulled out from under you after years of thinking everything was built on solid ground.
Totally. But then you have the other side of the coin, the people who are like, hold on a second, there are some secrets worth keeping.
Especially if the truth has the potential to cause more harm than good.
And that's where it gets really complicated because it's not just about the fiance anymore, right?
Right. You have to think about the sister.
Yeah.
What if this brings up all sorts of trauma for her?
She might not be ready to have that conversation with her family, let alone the whole world if the story gets out.
And then there's the child.
Right? The child who's completely innocent in all of this.
And what about their right to know the truth about their own life?
It's like you're constantly weighing one person's well-being against another's.
And there's no magic formula to tell you which way to tip the scales.
It's a classic case of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly. And that's why this one resonated with so many people, because it forces you to confront those uncomfortable truths about life and relationships.
Like sometimes there are no easy answers no matter how badly you want them. And it's like we're so caught up in the fiance's side of things and the sister's trauma that we almost forget there's like a whole other human being involved in all of this.
the child.
Right, this isn't just some abstract ethical dilemma. There's a kid caught in the middle of it all.
Absolutely. And that adds a whole other layer of complexity to this situation.
Because it's one thing to say, like, oh, honesty in a marriage, blah, 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 but how do you even begin to unpack this for a child?
Right. How do you explain something like this in a way that a kid can understand without completely turning their world upside down?
And at what age do you even start having those conversations?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And there's no one right answer. It's going to be different for every family and every child.
Okay, so say you're the OP in this situation. Where do you even begin?
Well, a lot of the Redditors were saying that age-appropriate honesty is key.
Okay, so no big dramatic reveals when they're like 18.
Right, more like a gradual approach, introducing information bit by bit as the child gets older.
So start simple and build from there.
Exactly. And there are actually some great resources out there for parents who've gone through similar situations, like books and support groups.
That makes sense because this is becoming more and more common, right, with adoption and sperm donors and all that.
Right, so it's not like this totally unheard of thing, but it's
Mhm.
still really complicated, especially with the added layer of the sister's assault.
Yeah, because how much of that do you tell the child and when?
It's a tough call, and I think that's where getting professional guidance could be really helpful.
Like talking to a therapist or a counselor who specializes in this kind of thing.
Exactly.
They can help the OP figure out how to navigate those conversations in a way that's healthy and age appropriate.
Because ultimately you want to protect the child, but you also want to be truthful with them.
It's about finding that balance, which is never easy.
Well said, and I think that's a good note to end on because there are no easy answers here. Just a lot to think about.
It's a reminder that life is messy and complicated, and sometimes we're faced with these impossible choices.
And no matter what you choose, someone's going to get hurt or disappointed or let down.
It's not about finding the perfect solution, because there often isn't one. It's about making the best choice you can with the information you have at the time.
And being prepared for the consequences, whatever those may be.
Exactly, and being willing to have those tough conversations and support the people you love, even when it's hard. Kind of said it better myself. And on that note, we'll leave you, dear listeners, to ponder this one because there's a lot to unpack here and it might bring up some stuff for you in your own life. But hey, that's what we're here for, right? To get those wheels turning and those conversations started. So until next time, keep it real, keep it honest, and keep it juicy.